Do you think it's because of his race?
So when Harry's dad becomes king, automatically Archie and our next baby would become prince or princess. Also, it's not their right to take it away. I think that would be very damaging to them.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Exposing SMG. Ever since the Queen's passing, it seems like one of the main things people can't stop talking about is whether or not Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's kids, Archie and Lilibet, are now officially prince and princess. Well, you came to the right video because I'm about to get real detailed and give you all the tea. Make sure to check out the video that just went up before this one, which discusses the aftermath of the passing of Queen Elizabeth II and the reunion between Meghan and Harry alongside the Prince and Princess of Wales, William and Kate. And of course, like and subscribe for more videos each week and follow us on our social media. Now, let's get started. Meghan Markle obviously cares so much about status and titles, even though she tries so hard to pretend like she doesn't. Titles were a big part of the drama that Meghan caused on Oprah, claiming racism was the reason as to why Archie didn't have a title.
He won't be given security. He's not going to be given a title. And also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
But as we all know, Meghan isn't that bright, and I already talked about that in my Lies on Oprah videos, so go check them out. She tried to masquerade the obsession with titles by claiming that if he doesn't have a title, he won't get security. It's all a bunch of bull because both her and Harry cried about security for 2 years and listed that being the main reason as to why they don't come to the UK. But as we all know, that's a complete lie because they came for the Platinum Jubilee and to do the walkabout amongst Catherine and William. So it's hard for people to believe they're being genuine about anything, especially their titles. Here's the truth. As I said in my last video, Harry and Meghan's 2 children are now eligible to claim the titles of prince and princess due to a decree issued by King George V in 1917, but it's not that simple and there are many layers to the situation. According to that written order, known as the Letters Patent, the children and grandchildren of a reigning monarch have the right to the title His Royal Highness or Her Royal Highness and Prince or Princess. But the Letters Patent from 1917 giving official guidelines aren't that rigid, which means they can be interfered with and they can be amended and rewritten at any time. So who gets to be His or Her Royal Highness / Prince or Princess? Children of the monarch, children of the sons of the monarch, and the eldest son of the Prince of Wales. Later, amendments have been put in effect as much as needed to foresee or prevent these specific issues. Also, the monarchy doesn't like sudden transitions from non-royal to royal status later on in life, if not by marriage. So every time a baby is born in the royal family, one that does not qualify for the royal style and rank, but could grow into one in the future, there have been active steps that have been taken to prevent that by issuing new letters patent so that the child is born as His or Her Royal Highness. For example, at the time Princess Elizabeth married Philip, her children would not qualify to be His or Her Royal Highness, Prince or Princess, because she was the daughter of a king. Instead, her children would have been lords and ladies until she ascended to the throne. This situation could have been considered adequate and automatic, but instead it was considered most unsuitable and worth preventing by taking active measures. So King George VI issued the Letters Patent, so Princess Elizabeth's children were born with the titles Her Royal Highness or His Royal Highness before she became queen herself and then had 2 other children. So that means that at birth, there was Prince Charles and Princess Anne. The same happened when Kate was pregnant for the first time. If the first child had been a daughter, she would have been a lady. If it was a son, he would be a prince. This was considered unsuitable, so the Queen actively issued the Letters Patent when Kate was 6 months pregnant, stating that all children of Williams would be His or Her Royal Highness at birth. This would cover a firstborn daughter and any subsequent children.
The idea of our son not being safe, and also the idea of the first member of color in this family not being titled in the same way that other grandchildren would be.
Another thing, the Queen never considered issuing these same letters patent to cover any child of Harry, even when he was single or after his wedding to Meghan, which clearly indicates that it was not the Queen's wish or intention to allow for Harry's children to have the His or Her Royal Highness Prince or Princess titles later on in life, regardless of any argument about that later transition being automatic. Why? It's unprecedented, it's never happened before, and it's always been actively prevented. Let's talk about Meghan's role in all of this. She once brought up the fact that Kate and William's kids have the Prince and Princess titles, but Prince George has always been an exception to the rule outlined in the 1917 decree because as a direct successor to the British throne, he has been styled as a prince since birth. And as you can now see, nothing is automatic with the titles, nor is it racism or lack of security like Meghan likes to claim, but it's all protocol about what is necessary and what is best for the monarchy.
You know, the other piece of that conversation is when you're the grandchild of the monarch, so when Harry's dad becomes king, automatically Archie and our next baby would become prince or princess.
Meghan, of course, never cared about what was best for the monarchy, but rather what is best for image and what she can monetize. And that is why, ever since the Queen's death, Wikipedia has been edited multiple times to reflect Prince and Princess titles for Archie and Lilibet, with some pointing out that it's Meghan's PR reps at it again. Now, those are the basic rules and protocol that is taken with titles and all of that. Let's talk more about context and how it has been rumored for many years that once Charles becomes king, he wants to slim down the monarchy. Yeah, you heard that right. It has nothing to do with Meghan's skin color because God forbid the royal family does things that have nothing to do with Meghan and her short days as a working royal. But like I said, rumors and reports about Charles having a plan to streamline the monarchy has been in the open since 1999, which includes having more non-working royals, fewer straight-out royals, and retiring a few other working royals. And this can be dated and found in a handful of old articles and a documentary titled Prince Charles at 50. Now, further evidence along these lines is Charles's open encouragement to cut Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie's royal protection when they graduated from university, but that's a different issue. But let's talk in regards to Meghan and Harry specifically. When Meghan was pregnant, royal watchers were waiting to see if new letters patent were to be issued for Harry's children, but they didn't get any letters patent or any statement at that stage. But at the time, something hilarious was being reported on. It was reported that Meghan was furious when she learned that her kids would not be automatically prince and princess. So what did she do? Apparently she had a huge fight with Kate about it. Speaking about the situation, Alexis Sliffer, a taco presenter, said, "We are talking about Meghan Markle, Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex, possibly being exposed for who she truly is." Which isn't really a surprise because ever since she has been involved with the royal family, there has been drama at every corner. Alexis continues and says, "The exposing comes from an inside source saying there's a video from a royal aide secretly taping as Meghan was going off about Prince William and Duchess Kate's children. They're being given His and Her Royal Highness titles while Meghan and Harry's children are only going to be lords. People think that she's having a meltdown because the only reason she married Harry in the first place was to get those titles. So she's having a major meltdown and somebody caught it on camera." Now, at the time when Meghan gave birth to Archie, her PR reps said that they didn't want the titles because they wanted Archie to have a normal childhood. After all, she claims she wants privacy most of all, right? Now, in 2020, a book titled Royals at War, The Untold Story of Harry and Meghan's Shocking Split with the House of Windsor, came out and exposed some interesting tea. It was written that the preparations for the wedding clearly showed the royals who were in charge and it wasn't them. On one notorious occasion, Kate was said to have been left in tears during a bridesmaid's dress rehearsal session with Princess Charlotte. In a moment of tension, the issue of their respective children's titles had come up, and it allegedly unleashed a torrent of pent-up emotions. If I read that in 2020, and then someone showed me a clip of Meghan talking about the titles, months later in 2021 on Oprah, I would 100% believe what was said in the book and come to the conclusion that she has some serious resentment on the topic of titles, which isn't anyone else's fault except Meghan's because she doesn't know how to read and clearly Harry doesn't know how to explain. The book also references the information spilled by the taco. At the time, Meghan reportedly told a friend, "The same people who have been abusing me want to see me serve my child on a silver platter." I think her definition of abuse is, "Hey, listen, you're a working royal, here's the job description." And that translated to Meghan as, "They are so racist, this is abuse." Anyway, she also told Oprah, "A child who is not going to be protected and doesn't have a title, how does that make sense? Tell that to any mother in the world." I know it's been a while since the interview, but she still truly baffles me. That's like being confused as to why a CEO of a company has certain benefits like a solid parking spot and complaining that you, a barista, has to take the bus. You are not that important and the rules aren't going to be bent because you want them to be. Like, the sheer audacity. Please tell me I'm not alone in the comments below. So anyway, after the birth of baby Archie, the palace announced news of the birth with the statements later sharing that the child would be known as Master Archie. Omid, aka the unofficial official Sussex spokesperson who was one of the writers behind Finding Freedom, shared a tweet saying that this style of address reflects the wishes of the parents for the child to have a normal life. Let me say that again. Meghan and Harry are on record saying that they want this title for Archie because they want him to have a normal life. He is also the Earl of Dumbarton, but they also chose not to use that title. Yet on Oprah, Meghan stated that the Queen denied Archie a title even though they actually wanted him to be a prince. So why was her lapdog saying, "As we expected, Harry and Meghan forgone a courtesy title for their child, all part of giving him as normal a life as possible?" And she was praised for that, and compared to Princess Diana, I don't know why or how. But is Meghan not keeping track of her lies, or did she want to milk every angle possible? The "I'm so unbothered by titles, I actually don't want a title" angle versus "racism forced my child not to be called a prince, and here I am in Hollywood trying to make ends meet." Like, you have to make it make sense. It's also crazy how that was the official version until Meghan appeared on Oprah telling the world how the mean racist people at the palace wanted to take away her child's birthright because of the color of his skin. Now, as the dust started to settle, a damaging argument arises, telling people that Meghan's children would become prince and princess automatically when Charles becomes king, which is, as we know, false and based on wishful thinking and a particular interpretation of the legal documents, which disregards both the lack of precedent for this situation and the spirit of the actions taken or not taken by the monarch, aka Queen Elizabeth. But come today, news outlets around the world are repeating this lie, that titles are automatic. But there are still a few clues hinting that they are indeed not automatic. Firstly, King Charles mentioned Harry and Meghan in his first speech by name but not by title, and while wishing them love as they build their lives overseas, there was no mention of any titles.
I want also to express my love for Harry and Meghan as they continue to build their lives overseas.
Secondly, the palace updated their website with the official line of succession, and the Sussex children were featured with no titles, while Cambridge children are now renamed as of Wales to reflect their parents' new titles. Thirdly, when the palace was asked directly about the titles for Sussex children, they have refrained from answering anything. Therefore, it's not automatic, or else they would have reflected the change. The Times wrote, palace officials also refused to say whether Harry and Meghan's children, Archie and Lilibet, would be styled as prince and princess with his or her royal highness titles, as protocol would usually allow for the grandchildren of the sovereign.
Also, it's not their right to take it away.
And finally, the spirit of Monarchy 101 is that the titles stem from the sovereign's will and pleasure. The monarch is the fount of honor, and the king can regulate at will who gets to have the his or her royal highness titles, when and if to remove it.
Also, it's not their right to take it away. Also, it's not their right to take it away.
For example, Queen Elizabeth removed her royal highness title from Princess Diana after the divorce with Charles, and did it once again with Sarah Ferguson, whom was married to Prince Andrew. King George made Philip Mountbatten and His Royal Highness overnight, but he wasn't a prince before he married Elizabeth, and Elizabeth made her husband a prince in the 50s, years after she became queen. So if King Charles doesn't want Harry's children to become princes or princesses, regardless of who is his wife or if there had been any scandals, he is in the full right as king to modify the letters patent to reflect the vision of the sovereign for a monarchy to carry into the future. And the letters patent do not limit the said vision as an independent legal corpus above the king in any way, shape, or form. There is also now a lot of controversy about why Archie and Lilibet don't have his or her Royal Highness titles because of Meghan's rampant PR agenda that the titles are automatic. A spokesperson for Charles told reporters, "At the moment, we're focused on the next 10 days. As and when we get information, we will update the royal website." The ignorant media keeps saying that the titles are somehow automatic while the palace is getting fed up over being asked about it. I personally believe that Meghan and Harry want to spread misinformation because they want the royal family and King Charles to get a lot of backlash if he doesn't give the children the titles.
I think that would be very damaging to them.
And therefore, that may pressure him into giving it to them so he can appear more likable. It depends on how far the agenda goes. But as we can see from this video, it's not really personal, especially with Charles, who has wanted to remove titles and slim down the monarchy for other people in the royal family, not just Meghan and Harry. So that is everything you guys need to know about titles. It has nothing to do with being racist toward Meghan, since titles have always been revoked and updated depending on what the sovereign wants. It's embarrassing that Meghan's team is still pushing this narrative while the country enters a period of mourning for Queen Elizabeth, but we can't expect much from someone who couldn't even show some mercy on her own father. I hope you guys enjoyed this detailed coverage about the titles. Let me know what other videos you guys want me to make about Meghan and Harry and the royals in general, and be sure to like and subscribe for more videos each week. Follow us on our social media, and as always, I'll see you next time.